Well, what's going on, knife lovers? Hope you guys are doing well. Gonna do a little bit different style of video today. I thought this would just kind of be fun and, give you guys a different angle and perspective on a pocket knife in the push button arena that has not only some really unique features that I've never seen before. I'm gonna argue for a push button style lock. I would put this in the premium realm. That's what I'm going to put it in, and it has the potential to usurp the place that I have in my heart for another push button lock, and I would argue is my favorite up until this point. We're going to kind of talk, is it truly usurping it? But the CIVIVI CONSPIRITOR. This is a phenomenal blade, phenomenal blade, and is, I would argue, my favorite push button lock, and has been since I first got it. Leave a comment below if you already rock one of these. What do you think about the Conspirator? But this Kizer, right there, Brat. Oh, look at that. Brat, designed by Azo, I believe is the designer. Really checks some unique boxes and has some features that I prefer even over the Conspirator. Is it enough? We're going to find out. But what the Kizer brings to the table, and if you're new, welcome. I am Aaron, and this is Gideonstactical. The first thing that I really was excited about is the 154 cm steel. Now, a lot of knives, including the Conspirator, they have, for these overseas produced, button locks, it's like Nitro V, you get Sandvik, you get D2, that's usually what you're going to find. So to have 154 cm is just kind of exciting for me. It was really one of the first stainless steel premium steels back over a decade ago when I started the channel that were out there and that I got my hands on. I just fell in love with that steel, and when done right, I'm really happy with it. And they really have worked this well. They do a Rockwell of 60 to 62, which is kind of high actually, but I haven't had any sort of chipping or issues, and if anything, the wear resistance is better than a lot of other 154 cm that I have because of that HRC. Now, partially that in tandem with the blade shape. We have a 3.5 inch blade. It's so good to see that size range. It's like a really good sweet spot, I think, for a lot of people, including myself, of about 3.5 inches. You get a lot of work done, but it's starting to get into like the monster realm with an extremely high flat grind. I mean, the grind is so flat, like high. You can barely even see the transition on that saber or flat grind, and it's basically in line with the swedging on the clip that they have done. And you get some piercing out of that, some aesthetics, and you also get some belly. So they're trying to achieve a lot of boxes with a good edge geometry. So what do you think is going to happen on a stock thickness of 0.11? It's going to slice. It's going to slice, guys. It's going to cut through stuff. I mean, that's what I expected, and it did exactly what I expected it to do. It did not underperform in that realm, in that way. So cutting, slicing, going through all your general stuff, but it's still... a lot of bellied knives don't pierce very well. This is going to be able to pierce, that package of your kids' toys, that toolkit you just got. Back in the day, you'd go to Sam Goody and get your CD, and then you'd have to rip through that stupid freaking cellophane wrap. Shout out. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, all you Gen Zers probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be able to do that, and it doesn't seem too blunt. Now, it's a fine tip. I wouldn't be treating it like a screwdriver, pry bar, but, has enough little meat behind the edge, I think, to be able to do, the basic work. So on that front, great steel choice, really cool blade design as well. Now, there is this one feature that I have never seen on a pocket knife before. Maybe I'm sure it exists. I don't think it's unique to this model, but it's something I've never seen. And so the steel choice, along with what they do with this handle, I would put it in that kind of premium realm for a push button lock. I'm not saying a premium knife in general, just a push button lock, and especially in this, like overseas arena. Now, I'm going to get to that in just a moment, but I do want to invite you guys to like, subscribe, and make sure to hit the bell icon so you can be notified every week. When you really hit that like button, it gets recommended to other fellow knife lovers and gear lovers, and just helps us go up in the rankings here on YouTube. That, and I want to thank today's sponsor, which is also Hard Side Hydration. Hey guys, here at the 2025 Mile High Hunt and Fish Expo at the Hard Side Hydration booth with my buddy Dustin. He's going to share with us some of the stuff that Hardside's got going on for 2025. How you doing today?
Good. Thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely.
So, Some new things we got a new bite valve here. This one operates a little differently than our last one. It still has an on-off switch. This is in the off position, this is on, so it's really ergonomic to drink from. You can switch it around, so depending on which shoulder it's over, it'll still work for you, right or left. We have a new color hose this year. This is called Clay. This hose is made in Ohio. We ship everything to Montana, assemble it right there, ship it out to you guys. So we love supporting our country and small businesses like us. We also have a new filter. It's a straw basically that replaces the current straw on the Swig Rig wide mouth. So just replace that straw. You can dip out of a stream or lake, and it's going to keep you protected, and just makes it really easy and convenient to have filtered water wherever you're at. So that's new for this year.
Awesome. Thanks, Dustin. You guys know I love my hard side. I love this shirt. Bladders suck. Ditched my bladders a long time ago. So if you guys are interested, I'll have linked or tagged below their site so you can start exploring all the different hydration options that they offer. Catch you guys later. Now, don't mind the airplanes. I'll try not to cut if I can help it. The handle. This is an integrated one piece of G10. Now you can get black or green. The black is a different pattern, I believe. But that is super cool. So that means that there are no liners required. We have liners right around the pivot housing to give it durability right there. But the rest of it is just one chunk. So it's just, if you like machining and interesting handles, it just has a cool feature that there's no seams, there's nothing like that. And it's just that one piece of G10, and then that means that they can really round it out, and you can see the tapering on the handle kind of being broader where your hand is and where you're putting the pressure, and then tapering down towards the bottom there. And it just gives it this, there's no gap, so it just really feels comfortable when you're pressing down, doing a push cut with the design. And I'd like to see more companies do this. I think it's pretty cool, and still, can easily be blown out and cleaned out because it's just that one piece. But leave a comment below. Do you like that idea? Is that kind of a cool feature or not? Now, we'll get back to texture and good and bad, but I just wanted to hit this button lock, the pivot. They match that really nicely. As I stated, the housing is there. They have the ball bearings that this runs on with a good stop bar. Now, it makes it very easy to either just push the button and open or use the flipper. They did a really good job with the flipper. It's not super sharp, but it's got enough jimp right there that you can easily do that without flicking your wrist. But it adds to the lockup right there, giving you good traction. And then along with that, hit of jimping along the spine that's light. So just kind of like right there. And, no play, no issues there. And look at that, just sucks it right back into place. So as long as the push button doesn't bounce, I actually test all my push buttons that way, do some spine thwacks really quick, just to make sure it's, doing what it should. But good enough for me, definitely on par with any liner lock I own, on durability and strength. Obviously a Triad would be a more durable option there. Now, leave a comment though, do you like push button locks? And one benefit to push buttons over liner locks are gloves. You can actuate these things with, and depress the lock with gloves on. So if you work with gloves a lot or use them, that's a good benefit. A lot of liner locks are a nightmare, and you basically have to take your glove off to disengage the lock and put it back in your pocket. Now, the texturing, all the rounding is excellent. I mean, all the shoulders are perfectly contoured with that G10 slab, basically. Reminds me of like the Lion Steel and what they do. They canoe out their like T5 and T7 and M7 blades and T6, and it's kind of that like in reverse. This is pretty high diamond traction, so it's not going to be as organically smooth as the Conspirator. That is one thing just to note. So on some level you might actually like that, particularly if you work with your gloves and hands and stuff, and do stuff in the outdoors. But the diamond pattern, thankfully, is kind of eaten up with the pocket clip, so it doesn't really create a massive hot spot, but it's definitely warmer. Not, so I won't say hot, but like lukewarm. For that diamond pattern. So for some people, and check the black, I think the black has a different pattern here. But for some people that could be a deal breaker. It could potentially cause some thrashing on your pocket as well. We haven't seen that in a while. The tension is actually lighter than on the Conspirator. Now it's a loop over recess, deep ride, not ambi. I don't know why they didn't do that. They should have. So that's a downer. But you can see how I can flex that. Now it holds really good tension, but it flexes enough. The Conspirator, I prefer the design of the Kizer more over the Conspirator and CIVIVI's, but CIVIVI's has more tension. You can see I have to push a lot harder to try and get it to flex up there, but the lip is a lot higher, snags on more stuff. This won't do that. But if you did snag it, it doesn't have as much tension. You could definitely like bend that thing potentially. Most pocket knives would bend on you, but it's just something to note. But it flexes over like thicker double layered pants better than many. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there on that front. And so with a weight of like 3.7 ounces, all of the things here, and I think it's 4.6, I think. I mean, the handle is really big and beefy. Look at all the extra real estate I have with my large size hands. Guys, the last thing, pricing. Now, I requested this. I was really curious, so Kizer sent this over to me. I'll have affiliate links included in the description box as well as popping up if I can. $90, $90 for this one. I would say that is like top tier currently for push button, overseas made locks and just knives in general. The Nitro V Conspirator is still $80, so it's $10 less, but they're doing like $59 to $61 on the HRC, and I don't know. I'm trying to. I keep going back and forth. The grinds are very similar. That you're going to get very similar performance, ergonomics. It's just this cool factor right here of the continuous handle, and I like the pocket clip a little bit more, and I know I get a little bit better edge retention out of the 154 than I do out of the Nitro V. But I love the micarta, and I do love the kind of like knock off blade, like blood groove, whatever. Ultra cool. So I'm going to say it doesn't usurp, but it is sure as heck close. And a very heavy contender, and for some of you, may even eliminate, the Conspirator in your rotation. You may really fall in love with it, because I really have. And I actually even like the action. The action doesn't seem to be quite as gritty. We can kind of hear the CIVIVI action more, if that makes sense. Got a couple planes coming in, so I'll wrap it up. But guys, very, very good heavy-duty contender to the Conspirator, and still coming in under $100 currently. When I'm making this video, who knows. But let me know what you guys think about the Brat. Wanted to just highlight that with you guys and show you what the capabilities were and any potential limitations, and put it on your guys' radar. So appreciate you guys. Check out the other videos. Subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, always remember to stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.